Oh, das sah so geil aus. Wir haben uns ja diese Setup Wars angeschaut. Und mir wurden jetzt ganz viele von diesen Setup Wars vorgeschlagen. Noch eine Episode mit Teen Edition. Und die sah auch krank aus. Die wollte ich euch noch zeigen. Ich will mal überlegen, ob ich mein Setup einschicke. Am Montag kommt meine Monitorhalterung und meine Mückennetze. Das ist halt auch richtig, richtig gut. Und ich glaube, von hinten sieht mein Setup schon ganz cool aus. Also wenn ich jetzt so nach vorne filme, sieht es eigentlich, finde ich, ganz fresh aus. Aber ja, es wäre zu wack zum Gewinnen. Aber da sind auch einige, die nicht so krank sind. Ja. Okay. Das sieht so, die sehen krank aus. Oha. Okay, let's go. Wir müssen uns mal wieder Zuschauer-Setups anschauen, eigentlich auch.
Take a look at Aryan's setup from
16, oha.
Virginia. He's a high school student, and this is the setup he uses for gaming and homework. We're not talking just one or two, but triple curved monitors that he mounted against the wall with a massive 65-inch 4K TV from Samsung right on the top. Personally, I feel like the TV is mounted a bit too high up there.
Ja,
There's a lot of empty space between the setup and the TV.
Vor allem, es ist nicht ganz mittig, was sie triggert. Das hier ist nicht ganz in der Mitte von dem hier. Aber voll geil, wenn du dann, ich schätze mal, dass ein Bett oder eine Couch hinten dran ist, wenn du von da aus chillen kannst.
The desk he's using is made up of the IKEA-style John countertop and a few Alex drawers as support, but he did use a few cabinet legs to raise the desk a bit. For peripherals, Aryan chose Corsair. He's rocking the K95 RGB Platinum keyboard with the M65 Elite mouse without a mouse pad for some reason. I also don't prefer just leaving the cables alone like that, even if you did wrap it with a Velcro strap.
Ich finde ohne Mauspad ziemlich lost.
What you can do
is es ist so super unangenehm, Maus ohne Mauspad.
Just take apart the mouse cable and spread it out evenly under your keyboard to hide most of the wires for a much cleaner surface.
True.
I also noticed that your monitors are blocking off your speakers. If it starts to bother you in the future, or if you plan on buying better speakers, you can always mount them on your wall right above your monitors, since you have plenty of unused space. There's a bunch of these speaker mounts online for super cheap. You would just need to find the right ones that
das sollte ich mir, wäre vielleicht auch noch eine Option bei mir, dass ich das mal mache, weil die stehen bei mir auch auf dem Schreibtisch.
Work with your speakers. Aside from the speakers, he also uses the SteelSeries Arctis 7 headset that he has hanging underneath the desk. Now, cables do seem under control with the help of a few raceways and cable clips, and it does look like he routed all those cables through the wall and out the top behind his monitor, where he then hooked up everything on a power strip.
Kabelmanagement ist so wichtig. Er hat hier noch LED-Leiste, sieht man hier. Guck mal, wie viel Klebeband der die LED-Leiste drin gemacht hat.
I also like that he hooked up stuff near the edge for convenience, like a USB hub, a few charging cables, and even his
das ist geil. Sowas bräuchte ich auch. Sowas wollte ich auch bei meinem Bett haben, dass mein Ladekabel nicht immer auf dem Boden liegt und ich es jedes Mal hochholen muss, sondern dass ich das auch da festmache. Das ist
charging cables and even his optical drive. I haven't seen one of these since I graduated first grade. Aryan does also own an Xbox 360 Slim, but he mostly games on his custom PC that he built inside the Corsair Spec Omega. It's packing the i7 8700K in here with 32 gigabytes of RAM and the GTX 1080 Ti. For a 16-year-old, this is one hell of a setup. Then again, his entire bedroom is bigger than my master bedroom, so I'm not surprised.
Das Bett von 1903.
Aryan stated in a note
1603 eher.
that he built this setup all by himself, and if that is true,
das ist schon cool, Chat, oder? Es ist schon ein nice Setup, vor allem für 16 ist es ist sehr, sehr krass.
Just work on personalizing your setup a bit.
Oha. Ja, okay, bei Nacht sieht es noch geiler aus mit den LEDs.
So that
ich finde die Wandfarbe nicht so
compared
wild.
to the other quad display setups on the channel.
Thank
you for entering. Coming all the way from Dublin, Ireland, we have Bew and his super clean gaming setup. I honestly didn't know if I should have
12? Wild.
Clean gaming setup. I honestly didn't know if I should have included this in the teen edition, since he's technically not a teenager yet, being only 12, but I didn't have any plans on making a pre-teen edition anytime soon. I have way too many editions.
Säuglings-Edition, Setup Wars Säugling-Edition.
Of Setup Wars as it is. We got Ultimate, Budget, Teen, Laptop, Minimalistic, Worst, Girl, Lego Edition is coming up soon, and even
Worst Edition.
Console Edition.
Ultimate Edition müssen wir uns mal anschauen.
Once I get enough console submissions. Anyways, back to the setup. So Bew is rocking a single 34-inch ultra-wide monitor on top of the IKEA Mickey desk. He's also using the HyperX Alloy FPS keyboard with custom gold keycaps that he picked up from Amazon, along with the Razer Naga Trinity gaming mouse, and also a blue Snowball Ice microphone.
Nice.
A lot of people might not realize this, but the IKEA Mickey desk is more like a side table. It's not meant to be used as a desk for obvious reasons. There aren't that many things on the desk and it's already starting to bow in the center, not to mention how small and narrow it is, barely leaving enough room for the keyboard and mouse.
True.
There is just enough extra room for
Ist auch ja relativ dünn, der Tisch, also in die Länge gesehen.
speakers and a couple of lava lamps. Unfortunately, Bu had to keep his PC on a separate shelf. You know, if the PC costs more than your actual setup, there needs to be some questions answered. What I do know is that it's custom made. You can clearly tell by all those nasty cables everywhere. That's surprising to
Aber das
see,
ist krass, für den 12-jährigen PC selber zu machen, ja.
considering the cables from the actual setup are managed fairly well.
Ja, aber krass, wenn man bedenkt, dass der 12 ist und sich einen Custom-PC entweder selber gebaut hat oder hat bauen lassen, das ist krass.
I shouldn't be too hard on him anyways, since he's only 12. At this age, this setup is actually pretty good.
Ich dachte gerade für eine Sekunde, dass hier oben ein YouTube-Play-Button ist, aber ist es nicht.
Is that a Fortnite game launcher I see on your desktop?
Ach, lass ihn doch.
I was hoping I didn't have to do this. And his super cozy gaming setup. We have a couple of Alex drawers holding up his Lindemann tabletop along with dual monitors. We got a 32-inch from AOC as the main display and a 24-inch on the side for multitasking. For peripherals, Casper is rocking the Corsair K68 keyboard and Glaive Pro RGB mouse with a collection of speakers. This dude really loves music. He has a pair of LG speakers that he kept on wall shelves up top, along with
Ich finde, die JBL Boombox ist nicht so krass. Ich finde generell JBL ist super nice zum Mitnehmen, weil die auch wasserdicht sind und so, mega nice. Das ist richtig praktisch. Aber ich finde, die Qualität von JBL ist halt immer so ein bisschen gedrückt. Also es ist immer so ein bisschen... Also wenn ihr günstig was wollt, ist JBL mega, mega geil. Aber sonst kann ich, glaube ich, immer eher Bose oder so empfehlen. Die Bose Revolve Soundlink ist nicht so viel teurer als eine JBL Charge oder so und ist trotzdem geiler.
a giant JBL boombox in the middle. But it doesn't end there. There are two massive floor speakers sandwiching his setup, along with 4 more speakers under the monitors. We got the Logitech
JBL
Z4s
Extreme
and 2
2
more from
ist
JBL.
auch in
This guy
Ordnung.
must be partying it up every
JBL
day.
Charge ist auch in
Speaking of
Ordnung. Die
partying
sind
it
alle in
up, he even
Ordnung.
added another wall shelf on the top to display all of his empty
Den leeren Alkohol, das ist wichtig. Die JBL, die jeder gesagt hat, sind alle gut, aber es ist jetzt nicht so, dass ich sagen würde, ja, muss so, mega
whiskey
wild.
bottles. I don't know if I should be more concerned that you're drinking at the age of 19 or if you think displaying empty whiskey bottles is a cool thing. Do your parents know that you're drinking alcohol at the age of 19, by the way? Oh,
Wo ist er her?
that's right, he's not from the US, I forgot. Wait, what's the drinking age in the Netherlands? Let's take a look
18,
real quick.
wahrscheinlich.
19? 19 years old? Would you guys think that's a bit too young to start consuming alcohol?
Deutschland einfach 16. Age of 19, laughing in German. Ja, echt so.
Actually, what am I even talking about? Kids
Germans,
in my home country, Armenia, start drinking at the age of 14, so that's actually not bad at all. Cable management also isn't that bad at all. He dumped all the wires on a Signum rack from IKEA and hooked up the power strip underneath
Auf
the
jeden Fall
desk.
in Ordnung,
No
ja.
complaints. And finally, the PC powering it all is another custom build. Holy fans, Batman. It looks like a tsunami is about to start up in here. We got 8 fans in here alongside the i5 9600KF and the MSI RTX 2070. I'm curious as to why you didn't replace those 2 AIO fans with RGB ones, since everything else is pretty much RGB
Ja.
in there. I'm really liking the setup though. I think the red walls you have adds a nice contrast
Ganz
against
cool,
the black
ja.
accents in your setup.
Es sind noch so Schaumstoffdinger, so wie es aussieht. Könnte halt auch irgendwie wegen der Musik sein hier, dass das alles hier nicer klingt. Also
even has a-
er achtet echt darauf, dass er sich ein gutes Musiksetup macht.
Bit of personality, from the whiskey bottles up top and your skateboard that you have hung on the wall.
Aber ja, es ist ein
Not
bisschen
bad.
zu overloaded, finde ich auch Uber. Ich finde auch, es ist busy viel.
Overall, great job on everything. Thank you, Casper, for entering. Up next is Hudson from New York and his simple setup that he uses for gaming
Right.
and schoolwork.
It's clean.
He's using a single 24-inch gaming monitor as the main display and a
Nice.
55-inch 4K
14
TV
war der
up top
auch.
as a secondary. For once, we don't have any Corsair peripherals. Hudson is using the Razer Black Widow Tournament Edition Chroma with a Logitech G403 Prodigy mouse, but with a Corsair mouse pad. For audio, he's got a soundbar underneath the LG
Ich mag sein Hintergrundbild. Das finde ich sehr cool tatsächlich.
TV for media consumption and the HyperX Cloud 2 headset for gaming. He also has a blue Snowball Ice microphone hooked up to a boom arm off to the side, but I would have mounted that in between your
Ja.
PC and monitor
Ist
instead.
meistens besser,
That
ja.
way it's not in the way as much. Also, your
Ja, ich bin auch am Überlegen aktuell, ob ich wieder so wie früher mache und mein Mikrofon wieder zwischen 2 Monitoren verlaufen lasse. Aber das schaue ich mir an, sobald meine Monitorhalterung da ist. Der PC sieht sehr sexy aus. Boah.
fan configuration in your
Nice.
PC isn't optimal. You have 4 intake fans. It's generally not a great idea putting the top fans as intake since hot air rises. But other than that, it's looking like a clean build and good job on picking up custom cables too. Also, is there a reason why the setup isn't centered with your TV? I mean, overall, it's a pretty decent setup, but I feel like it's not complete. There's a lot of unused space.
Ja, weil hier halt das Bett ist. Wäre wahrscheinlich vielleicht ein bisschen zu nah am Bett. Aber es sieht sau krass aus, wie es bei ihm auch draußen aussieht. Schaut mal tatsächlich seinen Ausblick an. Er hat einfach einen Ausblick in einen halben Dschungel hier. Ist mega cool.
Space, it's lacking personality, symmetry, and the cables could use some more work. You know, you can use some cable clips to keep the AC cable in a straight path instead of having it hang like that. It's definitely a great start, however, with room for improvement. Thank you, Hudson, for entering. Wrapping up the episode is Macaroon Keto, who's a graphic designer from Indonesia.
Nice. Das ist so ganz klischeehaft clean.
Take a look at this awesome custom.
Das ist sehr, 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 sehr cool. Ja, I like.
Setup that he built. Right off the bat, the presentation is just...
Wäre nichts für mich, weil es zu wenig... Das ist mir hier doch zu voll. Aber er hat es geschafft, halt über den Farbverlauf und so. Das ist so... Sieht aus, als wäre es animiert, wisst ihr?
Stunning. I'm getting that futuristic industrial vibe with all of that reflective glossy surfaces and lighting. This setup looks like something straight out of a Portal map, and I'm loving everything about it. Sure. In terms of purpose, the setup is only used for design and consuming media. Unfortunately, Mech doesn't use it for gaming. He has a single 24-inch LG monitor as the main display that's sitting on top of a custom monitor riser, and another 24-inch in vertical mode that he uses for multitasking and design. Both desks are also custom made, and I love that he added some white carbon fiber vinyl on the legs.
Das ist super geil, dass die hier leuchten.
And the edges of the main desk, while the other side table has LED lighting incorporated on the sides.
Auch sehr cool.
And he somehow managed to diffuse the lighting by covering them with some type of frosted material. The same lighting is also done to the top wall shelf, and he covered the cables using a white raceway.
Kann man gut machen,
There's definitely a lot going on in this setup, and if you look closely at all the pictures, you can begin to appreciate all the little details. For peripherals, Mech is using a custom 40% split keyboard that he built using the lubed Telio switches and DSA blank white and XDA ice cream keycaps. Such a cool custom tiny keyboard that fits so well with the setup theme. He also uses the Logitech G102 mouse, which he has hanging from his pegboard when he's not using it. And it looks like he has a drawing tablet as well next to his keyboard, which he covers up with a mouse pad. That way he can use the mouse without having to move the tablet. That's quite genius, actually. You gotta appreciate his insane dedication to the color scheme. Everything from the setup is either white or black with subtle accent colors.
Ja, das ist geil.
For audio, we don't have any
speakers. Das ist
sehr
geil. Alles schwarz-weiß lassen und dann nur Accent Colors reinmachen. Das ist halt sehr geil.
Mech uses the Corsair Void RGB gaming headset for output and the Fifine microphone for input. I love that he has dedicated storage for all of his gear to keep the setup clutter-free. Cables are also managed perfectly with some raceways to help with routing and a power strip to plug everything in. And there's also a USB hub near the edge of the desk for convenience. And finally, the PC powering this awesome setup is tucked away in the corner, and I couldn't have picked a better case to tie the setup together. Unfortunately, we don't have any pictures of inside, but it is a budget build equipped with an i5-8400 and the MSI GTX 1050 Ti. You can definitely tell that Mech is a great graphic designer because the entire setup reflects on his profession and skills. It is so unique and creative.
Man sieht auf jeden Fall, man sieht direkt schon, dass er ein gutes Auge dafür hat für cleanes Arbeiten.
It doesn't even look like a setup. It looks like something that belongs in a futuristic movie or video game. I mean, just look at what he did with the Google Home Mini. Not only did he hook it up against the wall, but he added some designs around it to make it stand out. And he even incorporated the RGB strip packaging in there. He definitely has a lot of creativity, and he did a phenomenal job incorporating that in his setup.
Wirklich, sehr
I'm pretty sure you guys are already expecting this, but Mech, congratulations on receiving the 29th Seal of Approval. Outstanding work, my friend. This is such a great example that building
Meine, kann jemand im Chat, wir sollen uns die Seal of Approval Episoden anschauen, weil das die besten sind.
Can also be a work of art. I have no doubt in my mind that this setup will help inspire people.
Okay, Chat, Voting. Welches findet ihr am geilsten? Beziehungsweise, ich glaube, wir formulieren es am besten so. Wenn einer davon euer Setup einrichten dürfte, wen würdet ihr wählen, dass diese Person euer Setup einrichtet? Ich glaube, ich würde den hier tatsächlich wählen. Ihr könnt euch das oben nochmal anschauen von Bo. Hier, das ist von Bo. Ich glaube, ich würde diesen Macaroon Keto Boy nehmen. Das gefällt mir am besten. Wenn nicht, würde ich Hudson nehmen, glaube ich.